सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामय सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भाग् भवेत्. We pray for the happiness of one and all. May everyone be comfortable and happy at all levels of the personality. Spiritually, may we see that which is holy and divine. May there be no suffering anywhere. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Right. Does anybody have any question? We'll chant verse 23 once. Actually, verse 22.
पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततम्.
So we were on this verse, O Partha, that supreme being in whom all beings dwell, by whom all this is pervaded, is indeed attainable by unswerving devotion. So two parts to it. One, the truth that all beings are in the self, and the self is pervades all this, the entire world is pervaded by the self, that supreme being. So this we can only understand with the example of the dream world. Everything happening in the dream world, the dream forest, the dream mountains, the dream rivers, dream city, dream family, everything in the dream world is nothing but the waker's mind. They are rays and rays of the waker's mind, fibers and fibers of the waker's mind. This the dreamer can never understand. Only when he wakes up, he can relate to it. Similarly, but for this experience of waking dream and deep sleep, but for this, say, upama is comparison. When we understand how the entire dream world folds back into this waking state, from the waking state, we understand how the one waker's mind projects into the pluralistic phenomena of the dream world. So the waker says, all the dream beings are in my mind. My mind, the waker's mind, pervades the entire dream world. To achieve that waking state, or we can say the supreme being, Atman, it is done by unswerving devotion. So the point about devotion is devotion leads to surrender and purification of the mind. Bhakti. Bhakti is love for all beings. The poem Abu Ben Adam, the angel comes and asks, angel comes into Abu's room. Abu wakes up, but he is not afraid. The angel asks, the Abu asks angel, what writest thou? The names of those who love the Lord. Is my name one? Nay, not so. Your name is not one. So write me as one who loves his fellow beings. And when the angel came back with a great awakening light and showed the names of whom God had blessed, Abu's name was right on top. So we are in tune with the reality when we are in tune with the living creatures. We say no hatred for all beings. And identification. Identification means a feeling of oneness. You genuinely wish for their welfare. If there is anything you can do, you do it. And finally, at the end, we say Sarva Bhute Hite Rataha. Sarva bhute hite rataha means reveling in the welfare of all beings. You feel their sorrow, you feel their joy. When somebody else is happy, you're supremely happy. So that is one facet of devotion, where we identify with one and all. It's just not me and my family. The family becomes the center of your affection. The way you love your family, at the mental level, you expand to accommodate everyone. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The entire world is my family. Then the other aspect of surrender is surrendering that which is not in our control. When it should rain, when it should, what should be the temperature. I mean, we can hope that it doesn't become too hot or become too cold or when it's going to rain, but it's just not in our control. Like that, there is so many things. There is infinite number of things that are not in our control. So, such a beautiful exercise. If we have that faith in the divine, you surrender your worries and anxieties, you are relaxed. Like that little child who is sleeping on the mother's lap. The little child knows the mom is there. I'll be taken care of. There is nothing to fear. Or a little child who is with the parents in a big exhibition, a mela. Say in our old movies they used to say Kumbh ke mele mein kho gaye the. They got lost in Kumbh ke mele. So many children get lost. So, but as long as the child is holding the parent's hand, it is blissfully, it's playing around, nothing to worry. If the hand is lost, then it doesn't know where to go, what to do, how to go. There is so much of worry and anxiety. Similarly, devotion is that connection with the divine, where we have that faith. It's easier. I mean, it's easier when you have a connect with your, what we say, Ishtadeta, whichever God you connect with. It doesn't really matter the name, whether it's Vishnu or Shiva, Christ or Allah, doesn't really matter. But Ganesha, once you have that connection, that symbolizes the all-pervading divinity everywhere. The divine which is taking care of all things over which human beings have no control. And what control do we have? Can anybody go into the mother's womb and make the body, our eyes, our heart, all the internal organs so beautifully designed, functioning so beautifully until we make mistakes? So it's important to develop a sense of gratitude for the gift that we have. And an awareness of the infinite benevolence of nature, an awareness of the infinite benevolence of divinity. Earth is producing vegetation, oxygen is there, trees are giving fruits and oxygen, river flows, wind blows. So based on that awareness, that which is not in our control, we surrender. So this combination of love for beings, a surrender to that supreme being, awareness of the divine, followed by a gratitude, all that constitutes devotion. He says that supreme being is attainable by unswerving devotions. Our task is to be defeated by ever larger things. Yeah, beautiful. Our task is to be defeated by ever larger things. Similar, right? We say, we propose, God disposes. We may think that we will do something, but there is always this higher power. So the thing is, we have to keep on reminding ourselves, repeat to ourselves that the source of unlimited power, strength, and peace is within us. That all-pervading reality is within us, enlivening us at this very moment. So the more we are attuned to it, it almost like that power spills over to our mind and activities. In terms of activities, there is strength. In terms of mind, there is peace, bliss. There is oneness. So ultimately, it's that oneness. Without knowledge, we are only seeing the body. This is a beautiful example. What happens when children see puppet shows? A couple of years back, there was a very famous Indian puppeteer who passed away. He was considered to be like a legend almost. So when amazing how how much of skill and art is required to do that puppet shows. It's all fingers, right? But when children are seeing, they are seeing dolls dancing. They are getting excited and entertained when they see the dolls dancing. A little bit more adult, maybe class 10, class 12, college, or they are able to see, okay, there are some wires connected. They are able to see the wires pulling the dolls. But adults know that behind the wires there is the unseen fingers doing all the magic. Similarly, when we are very gross, when we have no knowledge almost, we only are seeing the body, the gross body functioning. We are sort of in the fall of the human intellect, Swamiji writes, we are in the age of gazing. You just observe the world without any reaction. Then you slightly rise up to the level of the mind or the intellect. That's the wires. The body is not functioning on its own. It is the mind's feelings and emotions, desires, likes and dislikes, or the thinking, the reasoning, the maturity, the knowledge of the intellect that is making the body function. Or either we are operating from the level of the mind, or we are operating from the level of the intellect, or a combination of both. So that those are a little bit more insightful. They are seeing the wires. But finally, the spiritual insight is you x-ray through the body, mind, intellect and realize that without the Supreme Self, Atman, no action or perception, no emotion or thought is possible. The quality of action and thought is depending on the wire, depending on the mind and intellect. But without that unseen hand of the divine, nothing is possible, whether it's outside or inside. So this awareness has to be sort of a overwhelming awareness. Slowly, you have to increase, and develop that feeling. It's all by the grace of God. It's all by the grace of God. We are still playing our role, but never forgetting that God. So through that unswerving devotion, we become God. Identifying with that divinity, as you think, so you become. Identifying with the body, we remain physical, the grossest level. Identifying with the mind, we become emotional, relate with emotions, superstition. Identifying with the intellect, we start correlating cause and effect. We want reason and logic. We want answers to our questions. Finally, attuning to the self, that's the highest. You see the Supreme Self everywhere. Any questions? 23.
यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिम् आवृत्तिम् चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तम् कालम् वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभ.
No, the thought flow is slightly changing. I will tell you indeed, O Bharatarshabha, the time in which yogis departing never return, and also the time they do return. Yogi is one who is doing yoga. Again, a reminder, yoga is derived from the Sanskrit root yuj. Yuj means to join, to unite. We are aware of our body, mind, intellect. We have not lost ourselves, but we have forgotten, we are not aware of ourselves. So any attempt to regain our awareness, to unite with that divine self is yoga. So if you are using your body's action to get back to the self, to regain back awareness of the self, it's called karma yoga, path of action. Just now we covered bhakti. If we are using our minds, emotions, feelings to reunite, regain awareness of the self, it's called bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. And right now we are doing knowledge. If we use our thinking, reflection, contemplation upon the scriptures, these scriptures are not ordinary textbooks, they are declarations of enlightened masters. So you approach it with reverence and devotion, but not with blind devotion. It's very, very fascinating. It's only our Indian scriptures which are in the form of question answers. Kathopanishad is a form of question answer with Nachiketa and Lord Yama. Bhagavad Gita has been a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Yoga Vashishta is a question answer session between Lord Rama and Vashishta. So questioning is a very, very integral part of the whole system. But alongside devotion, the mind must fully be devoted to the textbook, to the teacher. See, if you hate your maths teacher, you can't learn from him. But if there is a Krishna and Arjuna were friends, where there is a friendly rapport, automatically your receptivity increases. Pranipatena pariprasthena, in the 34th verse, Krishna tells Arjuna that if you have with the body, if you have an attitude of service and sacrifice, with the mind pranipatena, a spirit of devotion, and with the intellect questioning. So this combination, it is the combination of karma bhakti jnana. As we do the spiritual disciplines, then you become a yogi. Now he says there are yogis who return, and there are some yogis who never return. This is scary. Where are we supposed to go and not return? Few verses back, there was this concept of returning. Let me just quickly find out. Not 20, I think 21. The unmanifest is said to be imperishable. It is said to be the ultimate goal. No, not this return. Those who reach it do not return it. So once you are enlightened, there is no falling back. It's like once you wake up from the dream, you cannot go back to that same dream. Impossible. So you may fall into another dream. So therefore, this is one area uh, we say you have to have faith. Everything can be explained until up to enlightenment. The more thoughts and desires you have, the more agitated you will be. The less thoughts and desires you have, the more peaceful you are. This can be explained. But what happens when you transcend the last thought and reach that fourth plane of consciousness? It's like the dreamer can never understand the waker remaining in the dream state. But once he wakes up, it's a totally different experience. So what is that state of enlightenment? How when one reaches it will never return. There itself is a problem because we have already returned. We are not enlightened. So there itself is so that if you have a doubt, the master says, if you don't have faith, wait for next janma. So you want to try it out, next janma you try it out. Otherwise, have faith. The beautiful part of is India, which is like the spiritual capital of the whole world. There is galaxy of sages and saints. You cannot like repeat the names. There is Valmiki, Vashishta. Where is in our times itself, in the last 150 years, there is Ramana Maharishi, there is Kanchi, Kanchi Shankaracharya, there is Nisarga Datta, there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, there is Swami Ramatitha, Swami Tapovan Maharaj. They are all in different parts of India, and there was no mobile phone, there was no exchanging of letters. All said the same thing. You read the books in different languages, all point out to that one reality. And the other side, we don't find any human being, how much ever happy he is in the world, to be absolutely blissful, experiencing everlasting bliss. So the combination of these two, the limitation of all worldly gains, plus the declaration of these masters in different places or different periods of history who did not have any communication with them, that should give a sattvic person. Tamasic person will not relate to it. Rajasic person will not relate to it. A sattvic person, he will grab onto it that I must explore it. Not in a spirit of blind surrender, with questioning. So there is somewhere you go and you don't return. That's enlightenment. I was not referring to that. There is somewhere, I think before we got into verse 17, 16. 16 said, all the worlds up to Brahmaloka are subject to return, O Arjuna. On reaching me, there is no rebirth. So there was a confusion in verse 16. I'll come back to it. Let's go to verse 23. Verse 23. There he said, you can go to Brahmaloka and you come back, or you reach enlightenment and not come back. Now he's saying, I will tell you indeed, O Bharatarshava, the time in which yogis departing never return, and also the time in which they do return. The path of moon, path of sun, there is Swarga Loka, Indra Loka, Pitra Loka. All this is very, very, very sort of, it can get confusing. But if you understand the concept, there is no problem. The concept is that it's not what we do in life that matters. It's how we do it. Of course, you take up your swadharmic activities which you are really inspired to do from within, you're passionate about, your inherent nature. That is the only thing we say, what you do matters. Choose your swadharma. If you choose something paradharma, it's fraught with fear. It's just not your field. You have to choose what is swadharma. But in swadharmic field, there are 3 modes of activity. While you are in swadharmic field, it's not what you do that matters, how you do it. In other words, a priest in the temple or a person teaching the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, wearing this dress, can be extremely selfish, egoistic. And a person, a simple gardener, or some simple person, whatever, a lawyer or a software engineer, there are two lawyers. Even Medhavi is a lawyer, Jyoti. Medhavi is a lawyer in Nagpur. Uh, Sarita, AI expert. So it doesn't matter what you do. If you are doing it with self-centered motives, well, self-centered could be as simple as my salary. If the thought is on salary, then it's not a vicious action. Vicious action is obviously very clear. We are harming others. I am taking salary without working. That's a vicious action. Or I am stealing somebody's money. We're not talking about that. A normal selfish action can be dharmic. I am working for my salary. Nobody will say anything wrong. The whole world is doing that. Why should I work if I don't get salary? But that's not a spiritual action. It is not adharmic, but it's not a spiritual action. So it is the attitude behind the action that makes it spiritual or a normal worldly action. Normal worldly action is when you're doing it with an I am the doer attitude and a self-centered motive. Much better is that, okay, I have this talent, let me use this talent to the best of my ability as a service and sacrifice. So now the attitude has become unselfish. I am thinking of others. Then comes the most difficult one, selfless service. Action with selfish desire is called action with bad desires. Papa, basically, a selfish person will be agitated, relatively less stressed, but he will be stressed out. What can I get more? What can I get more? Because thought is on oneself. What will happen to me? In unselfishness, okay, before I go to unselfishness, see, remember the goal. The goal is to apply the principle as you think, so you become. If you are able to remember the self, we will become the self. We will wake up to that supreme reality. Now we are all preoccupied with the world because our identification is always with our body, mind, intellect. Now, selfishness by definition means you're all the time concerned about what will happen to my body. I'm being technical. We generally say, what about me? Who is this me? This me is a combination of my body, physical comforts, my mind, emotional feelings, my intellect. Everybody should praise me. Everybody should honor me. So focus is on the body, mind, intellect is what we say selfish. So when we are doing selfish activities, we are thinking of matter. We are thinking of body, mind, intellect. How will we become the self? Now, straight away, a selfish person cannot think of the self. Why should I think of the self? Suddenly, from thinking of yourself, thinking of God will not sustain itself. So then we say that at least try to find some punya. Punya is what? Do good actions. Same company you're going, you're getting a salary. Nobody is saying don't take your salary, but your attitude is how best can I serve my company? How best can I serve my class members, my students, my clients, my customers? The moment the thought is how best can I do for others, what is happening? The thought is now shifting from what will I gain to others. That itself will calm the mind. Unselfishness calms the mind. Selfishness agitates the mind because in selfishness there is no end to it. What will I get? What will I get? What will I get? It just goes on. 1, 2, 3, 4, it will go to infinity. But in unselfishness, you hit a zero, as it were. So you're not thinking of yourself, you're thinking of others. But in unselfishness, this benevolent ego is there, that I am useful to others. If you are able to combine unselfishness without ego, that itself is selfless action. Selfless action is without desire. Most of you attended the Sunday class. We said there cannot be an action without desire. Any action is action, desire, thought, vasana. Vasana, thought, desire, action. VTDA. VTDA is a chronology of action. Vasana is when we are asleep, when we wake up, thought, desire, action. So we wonder, what is this action without desire? Action without desire, there are multiple ways of explaining it. Sometimes we do this just selfless action. I take the entire class to explain. Maybe we can do it next class. The highest form of selfless action, action without desire. Who can do it? Ullas is gone. Who knows? What is the highest form of what is an action without desire? Stephen, you remember? Anybody? Who can perform an action without desire?
Someone who's realized the self.
Correct. Because by definition, a self-realized person has exhausted all his desires. So, therefore, when an enlightened person functions, maybe Sarita, you can only remind me. Next Tuesday, we'll cover this. How does an enlightened person act? So, by definition, enlightenment is that person has no longer any desires, but then he's acting. That is the mystery. We'll cover that in the next class. So, there are actually schools of thought which say that enlightenment happens only when you die. There is a school of thought, Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means when your body dies, then only there is enlightenment. And there is another school of thought which I would say we fall into. I won't say we fall into. We explain both. If you want to believe in Videha Mukti, believe in that. If you want to believe in Jivan Mukti, the other is Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means you can gain enlightenment here and now. That's why we are now. What is going to happen when I'm dead? It doesn't really matter. We want enlightenment here and now. No. So Jivan Mukti makes more sense. There is a beautiful philosophy behind it. Jivan Mukti is more popular or acceptable because the moment you say enlightenment is only after death, what are we doing? We are reducing the entire scriptural literature to Harry Potter. It is somebody's imagination. If you cannot realize the self while you are living, how can you write a book while you're dead? So they say no, and we will explain it properly. Enlightenment is very much possible here and now. You can be otherwise all the masters, we are saying all the masters are unself-realized. Impossible. They were extraordinary human beings doing extraordinary things. And there is galaxy of it we have come across in Indian history. So if a person is enlightened, he has no desires. And if he is doing something, he is selfless action. Now that doesn't help us. Okay, enlightened person is doing selfless action. How is it helping me? But selfless action is given to us as a sadhana. So now what is second category? Who is acting without desires? There is only one desire which is out of the world. Which is that desire which is out of the world? Desire for moksha itself. Sorry, I didn't wait enough. Stephen, you were going to say something to that?
I have a question about desires because for me, there's a difference between wanting a good thing and wanting the right thing and wanting the wrong thing.
Wanting the right thing and wanting the wrong thing.
Right. And so if you want to identify with Brahman, that's a desire.
Right.
If you want to be a good person, if you want to, serve others, that's still a desire.
Right.
So
and
can we really eliminate, can we really, what would that look like if we eliminate all desires?
I'll show you a pyramid. You have the book Vedanta Treatise, Stephen? One second, let me show it.
Yes.
Is it on the screen? Can you see it?
Yes.
So about desires, the relationship in desires is as you improve the quality of your desires, the quantity reduces. So what is a poor quality of desire? Gross desire. Gross desires means when you identify only with the body or only with yourself, your desires are maximum. You want the entire world to cater to you. You want the family to cater to you. You want everybody to cater to you. So such a person, if weather goes up and down, he is upset. Any slightest change, he is upset because he's too dependent on the world. So gross person, He's physical, identifying with the body. Body means it's just me and myself. He doesn't even care for the family. Now, then, when you, with knowledge, or with ideally with knowledge or with whatever, he starts identifying with the family. So then he's rising from the body to the mind level, the emotions. So then it becomes me and my family, maybe my relatives, my friends, family small circle, relatives a little big circle, friends a little bit bigger cycle. So as he identifies with emotions or purer emotions, his circle of identification increases, the quality of desires have improved, the quantity reduces. And then when you identify with some intellectual desires, I want to do something from the country, I want to do something, or I just want to improve my work. Let me be a better Vedanta teacher. Let me play tennis better. Let me do better, write better software programs. Let me be a better doctor. If you just become, if the goal is serving the society, which is beyond your emotions. Emotions is me and my family. It's connected to the ego. When you
So,
go to the
Asam, Prakash
yeah,
here.
yes,
Yeah, so I have this one example. I don't know
right,
whether it relates to what you are saying.
right,
Your self-realization when you are saying about the desire to serve the society. So I remember our ex-president,
Abdul
Dr.
Kalam.
Abdul Kalam. Yes. So his life was completely dedicated for the human being. And then it is not limited to only the few one. So from kids till the older one, he was living by example that, okay, nothing is there for me. I am happy what I am doing. And the beautiful thing, what I feel about is that when he died, at that time, he was just last lecture he was doing. So he was so active. Last lecture he was giving to, to one.
I mean, I remember something. He was active and okay. Right. So you're right. So as you identify with a subtler level of your personality intellectually, you're identifying with the country, or let me do something for the entire human beings. The greater the circle of identification, the better, the purer is the quality of the desire. Quantity is less. So selfishness, lot of desires. As you start thinking of others, desires pertaining to you is less. See, it's not that you don't have it. You'll still eat your food, you'll still sleep, you'll still have your shelter, but you will do it according to your means also. You may have a beautiful house, you may have a beautiful car, but if it's there or not there, it's not bothering, because you're deriving happiness from a subtler level of your personality. So desires reduce as the quality improves. As the quality improves, you are also identifying with a larger group. Me, my family, my community, my country. Finally, at the level of the self, there is only one. The last spiritual desire is only one. Desire for self-realization is out of the world. Out of the world means self-realization is not something pertaining to the world. Now you're going beyond the world. Moksha, nirvana, salvation, God realization is a thought, no doubt, a desire, but it is beyond the world. That will finally go in meditation. You are
So
not
it
supposed.
goes, sorry.
Sorry,
So
yes, go ahead.
this desire for self-realization happens on its own. There is no need to take any effort.
I mean, they say that it comes as a grace of God. There is one angle of saying it. It will just come on its own, because that is our true nature. Something will draw you. See, we say, even in the Gita, Sri Krishna says, I will make your pursuit unswerving. Means whatever you pursue, you will not be rest content with anything finite. If you want money, it's like infinite money. You want beauty, you want infinite beauty. You want power, you want infinite power. Sarita, I'll just give you, already deviating, just finish the point, then I'll come back to you. We will never rest content with anything finite. So in any field that is infinite, so you're seeking the self unconsciously. But think about it, Prakash. If you gain the knowledge, if somebody tells you that there is something called mumukshatva, desire for self-realization, yearning for self-realization, just like any desire, I didn't know the existence of, let's say, this place, Naukachyatal, right, this house, this lake. I didn't know. If I don't know, how will I have a desire? Now I have a desire. Okay, I should bring my family here. I should bring my friend here. So, moment you have knowledge, you can feed it thoughts and make that desire strong. Same principle applies to spiritual qualities as well. I never knew, let's say, a person may say, I never knew that you have to be balanced in pleasure and pain. I thought happiness is pleasure only. But the scripture says remaining balanced in pleasure and pain is true happiness. So then you start thinking about it. You have now a desire to develop this beautiful quality, remain balanced, weather the ups and downs of life. Similarly, mumukshatva is considered to be the most fantastic quality of a seeker. You want to liberate yourself. You want to yearning for liberation. So if you have it, you have it. Otherwise, you can develop it through knowledge. Go ahead, Sarita. Sorry, I hope you remember what you wanted to ask. Sarita, go ahead.
Yeah, but sir, it's little time. Do you have time for the question, sir?
Go ahead. I mean, usually the class ends at 9:30. I couldn't take it at 8:30. So I was thinking of, go ahead. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
So,
I have time.
so my question was like, how do we prioritize? So, for example, they also say service to mankind is service to God. But then, if we say that we keep on serving others, then we might reach because we're doing selfless activity. So we might attain our higher self. But is it like a priority that it's better to just attain yourself than do the service to mankind? Is that the something that we can do?
No. Sarita, I can feel where your question is coming from. Selfless activity doesn't mean you have to say no to the fruit of action. That's the worry, no? If everybody does selfless action, then what will happen to me? I mean, what will happen? I mean, suppose it's not about the fruit of action at all. It is all to do with your mental attitude. You can be extremely selfless as a business person, earning profits. If the thought is that I am doing this business with the right profit margin, with I will be competitive, I will charge the right price, but I'm doing it as a service to God, as it were, then it's a selfless action. So, in a sense, you cannot realize the self without these selfless actions. You said, let me realize the self and then I'll be selfless. If you once you realize the self, you're already selfless. That's why they say that these people, whatever they do, we may not understand it, but if the person is enlightened, adnum nandre. It's a controversial term, but it is controversy is rubbish. It is a true enlightened person. Whatever he does it. He is like nature. Will we say the tree is harming us? An enlightened person has become like nature. How much ever flooding happens or volcanic eruption happens, we don't blame the mountain. I mean, do anybody does that? We don't curse that. Why did you erupt like a volcano? Why did rain God give so much of? We understand that's nature's fury. There's as good is there, bad is there. Similarly, even if an enlightened person is doing something harmful, it may seem to us, but he is totally become part of nature. Whatever an enlightened person does is selfless. We need to do unselfish activities, selfless activities to reach enlightenment. And it is in the mental attitude. You may charge the highest salary for highest, what do you call that? Charge for your service. Because you are offering premium service. You may charge highest. But when you're doing the action, you're not thinking what I'm getting. Go to verse 47. Write it down, Sarita. Verse 47 of chapter 2. Karmanneva ditaraste. You should not be inactive. Don't depend on the fruit of action. Keep on acting. Acting with what? Selfish motive? Unselfish motive or selfless motive? I am doing this action for God, realization. I am doing this action to benefit all of you. I am doing this action for myself. You see, same action. See, I am working in this hotel.
Just one small question over here.
Yeah.
Then if the attaining of the self is the highest in the pyramid also, then all these association with the cross body and then a family and then a society doesn't matter only, then directly the goal should be the subtlest.
No, you see, theoretically you're right. Practically, it's impossible. No, you need to feel. See, we say negative to positive, then beyond negative and positive. I refer to the Navratri, 3 days. First, you worship Goddess Kali, destroy your negative qualities. Worship Goddess Lakshmi to imbibe good qualities. Then you worship Goddess Saraswati. Worship of knowledge is you are the self. You are not Sarita. You are not the body, mind, intellect. You are the self. But a person who is so attached to the body, mind, intellect, how can he suddenly think beyond the body, mind, intellect? So then you have to become good. That's why we say Loka Sangra. Just do good for the world. So that will take you to Brahma Loka, where you are enjoying heaven. But then you are being told that is limited. You come back to earth, come back to the cycle of return. You return. If you just do good, the punya you gain out of good, it may end in 4.32 billion years, but then you come back. So we say good is only to make your mind peaceful and calm. Use that peaceful and calm mind to seek the self. That is practical. How can a selfish, egocentric person suddenly think of the self-realization and realize self? Theoretically, you can write, but practically, you have to serve the world. That's why everywhere they say unselfish activities, unselfish activities. People who misunderstand, they drop activities even while the vasanas and desires are within them. That's why they say naish karma is the perfection is defined as naish karmyam. Naish karmyam means actionlessness. Now, those who have not been trained by a guru, they drop action and says, I'm enlightenment, while they are full of desires. Actionlessness means no desire. No desire means no thoughts. No thoughts mean no vasanas. So our goal is to reduce vasanas. If vasanas is not there, action in anyway is not there, you are enlightened. Now these people, they have dropped action. They're full of desires within. That's the wrong path. So all this needs a lot of explanation, but good. Next class, we will focus on this particular verse only. We will focus on, see, selfish and unselfish we can relate to. But our goal is to jump from unselfish to, first of all, I mean, I'm pretty confident none of us are that selfish. We may slip into selfishness here and there, but most of us are unselfish. But how many of us are truly selfless? That's a real question mark. Selflessness is not easy. So, and there are 4 grades of selflessness. We covered the highest one, which is not relevant in the sense an enlightened person is selfless. So you may turn your back and say, oh, so how does it matter? He's selfless. How does it matter to me? We can be very, very selfless here and now. How to do that? We'll cover that in detail. Also, we'll cover if enlightened person doesn't have desire, what is the explanation of how is he functioning? So we'll cover that as well. Yeah. Any question unresolved now in today's discussion? Because all of it will require explanations. I don't want to rush into it. Path of return, there is a path of no return and there is a path of direct liberation. The names can be confusing. Krama Mukti, Kaivalya Mukti, path of sun, path of moon. May go for a chakkar, but if you get the concepts, it's not a problem. Obviously, path of sun is the best. Path of moon to derives its power from the sun. So path of sun is the highest. There's a direct liberation also, Kaivalya Mukti. We'll take it up next class. So we'll end the class with the prayer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll end with the prayer. One second. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Basantji.
Prakash, this 3-4 days is quite crazily busy, but I'm keeping you in my mind to reach out.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye, Stephen. See you. Medhavi, Ullas, Hari Om. Vinita ji, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Basantji. Thank you.